This is the video I want to react to today. It's called Why It Sucks to Own Geometry Dash. I can't tell if this video is tongue-in-cheek. I think from the thumbnail it is, since it's literally like too much money. But I saw this clickbait and it really did rage bait me. I was like, oh, does it? Does it really suck to be a multi-millionaire? You make one of the most successful mobile games of all time. Something that even people in this chat, y'all have talked about. You're like, dude, the dream of being a solo dev and having your game explode like this, and literally you have generational wealth to the point you never have to do anything else again for the rest of your life. The Toby Fox of it all. Some of y'all would give anything to live this. It's 50% tongue-in-cheek. Well, strap in, folks. Let's see. Let's see. I'm rage baited. Is this going to teach me to have sympathy for Rob Top? Let's find out.
Imagine this. You're a solo indie developer that had many different game design attempts in the past. You find a very interesting simple rhythm-based platformer with one button called the Impossible game. You make a game in
Wait. Rob Top ripped off a game? I actually didn't know this. Wait, is that real? Look, I recognize all art is derivative. Like, I'm not going to, that's crazy. I'm not trying to drama bait right now. That I had no idea that Rob Top was like, oh, that's a nice game. Let me make it. I don't know to what degree it's a ripoff, but the cube is similar. I mean,
rhythm-based
a better version. I mean, that's fair. It's fair that it innovated. That's fair. That's fair. You know, it's like rock and roll, right? A lot of people were inspired by the Beatles, but they did their own thing with it. I genuinely didn't know like it was this. I feel like I may have randomly heard that he was inspired by another game. I didn't realize that it was down to attempt count, bro. Can I crash out about this really quick? This is even crazier. A lot of people who play Geometry Dash, y'all care about attempts. And I think the only reason you care about attempts is because arbitrarily, they are something that is added to the game. You don't care about attempts because they actually intrinsically add value to your progression. You care about them because they are a thing that is observable, that exists. Look at this. Rob Top didn't even come up with it. It was from the freaking Impossible game or whatever. He only added attempts because it was in the game that he was inspired by. And y'all act like it is this paramount feature that describes every aspect of your dimensionality as a player.
With one button called the
I'm just saying you're sheep.
Impossible game. You make a game inspired out of it. No lore, just jumps and music. At first, it's just a mobile game, but with an insane catch. It has a level editor for custom maps. People play it on the bus, at
I disagree. You're allowed to. I don't care to hear your argument.
School, during breaks. Some get frustrated and quit, others keep going. Then, after updating the game multiple times and adding a bunch of new features, something unexpected.
Sorry, we've already rehashed this conversation a million times. Don't get it twisted. I don't want to talk about attempts right now. I do not want to talk about attempts right now.
Happens. Players start pushing the game way beyond what you imagined. Harder and harder demons are created. The skill ceiling explodes, and what was known as just an app, now it's a game engine. Years pass, and instead of dying like most mobile games, Geometry Dash becomes one of the most competitive, creative, and demanding games in the world. Sounds good, right? Well,
but like, what if I get it. I get that like Rob Top like was the incubator, I guess, for this game that attracted like a bunch of designers and creative folks that made like very cool levels that both design wise, but also that pressured and challenged the current player base to get better and better at the game. What if that happened with Impossible game though? I know that we can say empirically that it didn't, but I don't know. Sometimes things just kind of happen culturally or because of the community of a game. And sometimes I don't know how much of that was because of the creator of the game themselves or how much of it was because of the community that rallied behind the game, you know? I think it's a bit of, we've talked before on stream, like nurture versus nature. I think that this is the version of nurture versus nature in games. You know what I'm saying? I know that's the argument is like, then it would have. I don't know, man. I think stuff just kind of happens sometimes. I think a lot of times as humans, we're just like, oh, but the way things transpired was the way they were transpired because that was the way they were supposed to transpire. I don't know, man. I think sometimes it's just kind of random. I don't know. Maybe it was because of the game.
Oh, actually, no. Being Rob Top sucks. And here's why. Responsibility. Rob Top didn't just create a game, he created a platform. Geometry Dash is no longer defined by its official levels. It's defined by millions of community-made levels, thousands of creators, and an entire competitive ecosystem. Every single update and even every minor change he makes affects physics consistency, muscle memory built over years, and millions of existing.
That's actually fair. You know what? Immediately, I'm starting to be dissuaded and go to RobTop's side. If there's one thing I've learned from streaming Geometry Dash players are persnickety, bro. They are specific. If you release something that messes up the feel of the game they play, they are going to burn you at the stake. I had not considered that. I had not considered, like, dude, you could, like, change the color of something and people would crash out over it.
Levels. And once a new update is released, there's no undo button. And the fact that he is the only and main responsibility for the development puts all the stakes on his hands.
That's also a true point. I've talked about this before when I was a software dev. That's something that a lot of software devs like working by themselves because software devs are usually, I'm not saying every single one, but they're antisocial and pretty introverted, and having to deal with people is like having to bathe in lava for a lot of us. But the problem with being a solo dev is the great thing about being a dev team is you share accountability, you share responsibility. So if you're ever dealing with like product or business and they're like trying to shove their fist down your throat, it's like, okay, your fellow dev can basically have your back. Have your back and make sure that you're not taken advantage of. When you're a solo dev, this is another, yeah, okay. I think I was a little blinded by the fact that RobTop's a millionaire. I'm starting to appreciate the already 2 minutes into this video, the pressure that he's probably under, and how basically anytime something with the game happens that people don't like, they can just tweet at him. And the parasociality behind like any change in the game being directly and like intrinsically linked to him. Yeah, that's probably hard.
Small change can break old levels, invalidate challenges, or completely shift what's possible in the game. There are hundreds of known bugs on GD that just can't be patched, because if they do, thousands of levels will just break, including rated ones.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Rated levels, RobTop also has the responsibility of not only rating every single level, but also every day choosing a new daily, every week choosing a new weekly demon, choosing a new event level and gauntlet levels, programming.
I know that, like, I've heard about this from folks in chat. Why does RobTop not outsource this at this point? Genuine question. Does anyone in chat have any ideas? Like, I don't understand where it's written in the Bible of Geometry Dash that he needs to do this. Like, he has to be the arbiter and dictator of rating these levels. Some GD players are jackasses. Some of these people need to give Rob a break. Okay, I agree. I think that RobTop should get some help. Like, this could be run by the community, right? Okay, so we're all in the same idea that like there could probably be some community help on this side of things. Oh, way back he gave the player Neptune the ability to rate and he abused it. That makes sense. He's got burnt before because he wants it to stay in his vision. I'm gonna push back on that. I think that creatives that are domineering and are just like, they don't allow anyone else to touch their baby, I think that's toxic. I think that's kind of gross. I don't like that. I think, no. If that is the reason, it's a bad reason. I don't think that's the reason. If that is the reason, it's a bad one.
2.21, assigning new moderators and checking the current ones, and so much more. Sure, he can always hire someone to give the ability to do those things, but
that's what I said. Wait, but what's wrong?
The main problem is that it would create an inevitable inconsistency between the choices. Some levels would
an inevitable inconsistency between the choices. Okay, let me hear you out before I try and play contrarian.
Have different standards than others to be rated, and RobTop would still have to monitor the game to see if everything is aligned correctly. He can't just throw it in someone else's hands and hope it will be alright. RobTop is also...
I don't know, man. I still think you can... I think we're being too precious there. The argument is that you can't outsource it to someone else because at the end of the day, even if he outsourced it, RobTop would still need to have final say over it. It's like, I think that's a bit of a misattribution. It's like, no, the whole point of outsourcing it is so that RobTop doesn't have to have final say over it. This is another software dev thing. It's like, the reason why you have knowledge transfer and you teach other devs what only one dev has is so that that one dev can retire the responsibility. So the responsibility can be shared, even though historically it has not been. Like it's not outsourcing it so that Rob Top still gets final say. It's outsourcing it so that Rob Top no longer has final say. Does that make sense?
So, in the end, responsible for anything bad that happens in the community itself. For example, when
Oh, he does have mods that send him rate-worthy levels, but he makes the final decision. I mean, that seems like a fair balance for right now, I suppose.
Space UK won the award as the best player from 2021 and 2022, which were uploaded on RobTop's channel. RobTop took the main responsibility to nominate and award him, and now, even after being exposed as a hacker, he is immortalized there and the real winners will never receive their prize. Another really good example.
Right, so I think we just outlined one of the reasons why having one person with the sole responsibility is potentially an issue, no?
And one of the strongest ones are dramas towards the moderator team. Each time there's an exposal or leak that one of them did bad stuff, which is usually when they really like children, it also affects RobTop directly too, since he put those people to represent the community.
Yeah, but that shouldn't affect Rob Top. Like, people all the time out themselves online as being complete degenerate bastards. That's not Rob Top's fault if he didn't know. Am I crazy? Like, I understand, like, the public reaction, like, the inclination to play the blame game with that, but that's insane. Like, individuals should be held individually accountable.
For years. Not only that, but Geometry Dash is also rated for everyone to play, including kids, so he has a responsibility to keep
It gets a bit deeper, but we don't talk about that. Okay, maybe I'm missing context then. Let's not talk about it.
the game clean for everyone. And creators nowadays put the most unexpected things on their levels that he can't rate, sometimes even hidden, going from an innocent middle finger to literally anti-Semitic stuff. RobTop has to be—
Dude, I have heard, just anecdotally, that there have been a lot of, like, gooner, not safe for work levels made recently. Is that right, chat? Like, is that a more recent thing? I feel like some of the people who come into chat and they're just like, play my level, they might be levels like that. Yeah? Yup. Why, dude? I wouldn't know, but yes, there are. Oh, there's way worse. Dude, like, why do people use creativity to do evil? Gooner's a stretch, but yeah, kinda. I don't think, no, I've heard, like, literally there are some people who, like, straight up make, like, super sus stuff. Not just, like, to what this video was just saying, anti-Semitic type stuff, like, straight up, like not safe for work. Most levels people send are masterpieces they cooked up in an hour. Sounds about right.
Be aware 100% of the time. Update expectations. Geometry Dash updates are not regular updates. They are events.
This is something we even talked about in the Samifying video. I mean, like, across the, like, I don't know. Is this a reason? This is kind of a rehash of the earlier point of, like, responsibility. Expectations. It seems like a lot of this video is the pressure that Rob Top receives from the community of the game that he made, which is fair. However, I would argue that from an individual perspective, the best way to manage that is for any creative of any level is to release your grip a bit, release your control, and the pressure kind of extinguishes itself. It's still going to exist. You're still going to have a vocal minority that are pissed off with every single decision you make. But, like, spiritually speaking, I feel like there's a version where Rob Top gets to not worry as much about the vocally pissed off people, and he gets to still have millions of dollars and not worry about working ever again. Maybe that's controversial.
Is the only developer the game has as well, so to get a new update, it all depends on how fast he is. And unfortunately, a big part of the community doesn't seem to—
But again, like, sorry, and to the point I just said, he has enough money now to where he could recruit a team of devs and pay them, because I'm poking holes in my own argument. My whole thing was, like, never have to work again, but he is a solo dev, therefore he has to work. But what I'm arguing is, like, he doesn't have to work on Geometry Dash anymore. He could pay people to work on Geometry Dash. I don't know the ins and outs of why he chooses or doesn't choose to do that. Maybe it's because it's his baby. Maybe it's because of some other myriad of reasons. I don't know. I won't pretend to know. But it's like, he could get people to work on it and pay them and still profit off of it. Some people will even do it for no money. I'm saying he could sell the whole IP for all we get. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand, like, the fact that he chooses to keep on being a solo dev in and of itself, to me, seems like a choice. And I'm not saying that to vilify him. I'm saying that, like, he could get people to help him. The same way he could get people to help here. But I mean, to be fair, he did have that experience that kind of left a bad taste in his mouth, and I am sympathetic to that. But I don't know. I feel crazy.
To understand how complicated it is to gather all the valid ideas for
Like, if your problem is you're receiving a bunch of pressure because you're the solo dev for this thing, but you have the money and resources to no longer be a solo dev, I don't know. It's like a rich person like, oh man, I don't have a house. And it's like, you have money to buy a house. Just buy a house then. If your problem is you don't have a house and you have money to buy the house, then buy the house. Some people, their problem is not having a house, and it's because they don't have the money to buy the house. Am I crazy? I don't think so.
the game, program it, design the assets, set the servers, and so much more. Years of waiting build massive expectations, and a lot of times, some stuff just doesn't go as planned. For example, in the most recent update, RobTop officially added his version of CBF to the game, but we already have multiple people complaining because his version is not as good as the modded ones. If the update is too small, people...
Okay, to be sympathetic to RobTop, that is annoying. It is annoying because this will go back to what I've talked about for practice mode, adding start positions into the vanilla game or like some better debug map for practicing. That is frustrating that the community version of it becomes so baked into how the community views the process that if it diverges or if it's even a bit of a quality dip, even if it's the road to hell paved in good intention of him trying to add it to the game, the fact that people are still persnickety enough to point out that it's worse than the thing they've already been using, that's frustrating. I think he fixed it now. That's great. I see how that's frustrating.
People say it was pointless. If it's too big, people say it ruined the game. If it adds new mechanics, players complain about overflowing the game. If it doesn't, creators say the game is stagnating. No matter what you do, someone will be disappointed. One of the reasons that Update 2.2 took 7 years to be released was because RobTop was constantly adding new features to it. Not only because he wanted to...
That's... I can't, dude, I'm just so misinformed. Okay, I should have started the video with this. Caveat, I've been playing the game for 3 months. I really don't know my ass from a hole in the ground in terms of the GD community and its history and RobTop or whatever. All due respect. That sounds like textbook feature creep, bro. It sounds like when people are talking about, like, and that's a classic thing with solo devs. That's classic. I'm someone who's been a solo creator a lot. It happens a lot with content creation as well. You're editing a video, and instead of just releasing the video, you're just like, oh, let me add this other cool edit. Oh, let me add this other thing. Ooh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's the other problem with being a solo dev. When you're a solo dev, every time you get a good idea, or if you're overwhelmed by the community suggestion box and you feel like, okay, there's another thing to add, that's why you should have a team. Exactly, maybe.
implement them, but because it was stuff the community was hungry for. It was the biggest update in the game's history, so he could not disappoint. Third-party interventions.
But again, that's such an internal thing. Because this is such an important conversation to have, y'all, and this also has to do with content creation, like that, and it was in the Samifying video as well. The expectation of yourself versus the expectation of your audience or the people who play your game, whatever, that is the constant push-pull and friction of whether you're a game creator or a content creator or you paint pictures and you put them up in a gallery. That is the push-pull spiritually we all have to reconcile with as creatives. What is the answer? You might be imagining a lot of it. A lot of us suffer more in our imagination than we do in reality. There's like a quote about that. Yes, it sucks, but there has to be some answer, I think, that comes from within. But usually creatives, and to be fair, I haven't experienced this degree of success, but what I find with a lot of anecdotal stories about people who experience this degree of success and money and influence and all this kind of thing, they find a way to kind of circumnavigate the ego and expectation. I was watching a Scott Kramer video the other day about why YouTubers have second channels, which I understand that intellectually. To me, and I was watching like all these big creators explain why they make their second channels, and at the end of the day, I was still just hearing a lot of people justifying protecting their own egos, which is fine, but let's call it what it is. It feels safer to post a video that you want to post on your second channel where the pressure doesn't exist than it feels to post a video that you really care about that doesn't fall under the umbrella of the other videos you make on your main channel. Let's call it what it is. It's an ego trap. It's a freaking ego trap. It's fine. Expectations from yourself is you trying to protect your ego. Expectations that you think that other people have for you is your ego. It is your ego flaring up. I swear by this, but we treat it as if it's absolute fact, as if it is reality. And it's like, bro, can we all take a deep breath and realize that our thoughts are not us, our emotions are not us. All of us right now, if you're listening to this right now, stare at your hands if you have hands. You are the observer. You are the person in your room right now that is looking around at objects as I narrate. That is what you are. You're not your thoughts of insecurity. You're not your feelings of rage when you're playing a video game. You are the observer. And it's your responsibility as the observer to figure out how to interface with your thoughts and feelings and everything else attached to your corporal being in a healthy way. Sorry, should we watch the video more?
During the years, unfortunately, RobTop had to face a lot of different people either modding the game or just going to attack the servers themselves. The main examples are the known cheats. In the past, we didn't have stuff like Mega Hack that were collabing with RobTop.
Dude, well, wait. I use Eclipse, but like this thing is, I still don't know how to use most of the features. This freaking like tab thing is awesome. I think Eclipse is basically Mega Hack, right?
But instead, individual programs to do specific stuff like NoClip. Now imagine you are a game developer and someone makes a cheat for your game that literally makes the player immune, allowing them to complete any level. The rational decision would be to patch it, right? But when you do, they come back again and again and again. And while you have to patch it multiple times, you also have to keep developing the next update of the game, because the community is also demanding that. And patching cheats is only the tip of the iceberg. In 2017,
dude, I don't want to sound like a boomer, but it sounds like, yes, the argument here again is, it's like when I was a software developer, and like, don't get me, I've always complained about my job. I have never had a job I liked, but I think what we're talking about here is like, you are complaining about the job you have, right? When I was a software developer, I would complain all the time to my roommate and my friends. I was like, well, you know, I get paid well, but I have to freaking deal with people, and I have a really annoying coworker, and I have to build software, and I don't always want to build software. I don't feel like it. It just sounds like, yeah, dude, when you're a solo dev, you have to keep on working on stuff. You have to keep being a developer. I don't understand how that's an argument for like playing the world's saddest violin for this person. Like, you reap what you sow. If you are a solo dev, then yes, you have to keep developing. You have to not only develop new stuff, you have to maintain your game because you are a solo dev. I feel so, I know I'm not getting gaslit right now. I feel crazy.
Geometry Dash had the biggest hacking scandal of its history. Thousands of accounts were leaked, including from famous players and creators in the community. RobTop fixed what he could, but the damage was already done. The data of so many accounts were lost, and we even had people impersonating others.
Wow.
You gotta remember, everyone involved were just teens. Anaban himself, who was one of the hackers involved, was a teen as well, and RobTop was the one who had to clean all the mess and fix the game.
I'm gonna ban this one guy. They literally just keep engagement baiting me. I can't do it anymore.
That was one of the reasons the updates had to be delayed. Community conflicts. The fact that RobTop rates every single level in the game has its pros and cons. As mentioned before, one of the pros is having consistency in the standards that himself can control. But obviously, one of the cons is always being responsible for every level getting rated or not. RobTop is not a machine like a lot of people think. He is a human being. He spends most of his time working and programming, when he doesn't even have to, but all of that is because he is passionate about the game. But after spending hours every day working on it, he definitely does not want to spend more time giving all of his attention to GD. This is where the community conflicts begin.
Then he should outsource his workload. Then there's an easy fix to this. Then if he doesn't want to spend, if this is true, if you are speaking for him, he should outsource his workload. I feel stupid right now.
RobTop receives a lot of hate for taking too long to do certain things sometimes, such as
if you're online, hate is a constant. You're going to receive hate. If you have any sort of
rating levels, like the top 1 hardest demon, Thinking Space 2, that took months to get star rated, even though it had all the spotlight from the community when it was verified. Why? Because RobTop does not use his free time to search for community news. Sure, he has his moderators and people that pass important information for him, but he can't pay attention to every single level and event that is happening while working fully at the game. Speaking about levels like TS2, it's also insanely hard for RobTop to rate these levels simply because he is not good enough to check the level by himself. He has zero time to improve and become a better player, relying on the community's ratings and opinions. Atypical dev.
The community's been saying this for years. You're not crazy. Okay, thank God. This whole video, I've been concerned that I just have this very niche like opinion on this, and everyone's just walking around like glazing Rob Top like this and being like, no, it's actually fine. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. I'm like, bro, the solution's right there.
Rob Top is definitely different from most other game developers. He is extremely honest in not putting stuff in GD like microtransactions, gacha, or ads, when he definitely could have made even more money from those things. As mentioned before,
But isn't that annoying that that's the bare minimum? It's like when people talk about, oh, like toxic relationships where it's like, oh, he's not a bad guy. He compliments my dress sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is the bare minimum like, oh, well, he doesn't do this super nefarious things that most companies these days that make games do. Therefore, he's a paragon of love. Again, the game costs money, so it shouldn't have microtransactions. Exactly.
He also works in the game 100% by himself. He is passionate about it, but obviously, that ends up backfiring from one way or the other, because he is kinda stuck on doing this forever. Yes, he can hire—
Also, didn't someone literally in chat say one time that he makes most of his money off of ads on the free version of the mobile game? So, like, it's not like he needs— I'm not saying that companies need microtransactions, but it's like they usually shoehorn in microtransactions when they're really trying to eke their bottom line, you know?
people to do the job for him.
That's what I thought.
But what if it doesn't work? GD itself is in a pretty good position as
free version has 100 million downloads on Google Play alone. Bro, why are we weeping right now for this?
But imagine Rob Top puts more people to have—
Sorry, let me specify. Why are we like, again, world's smallest violin? I'm sorry.
the same power as him, and the game just becomes worse. Or new decisions made just make the community angrier. GD was only made by him, not a team of devs. There's not a big company behind everything taking care, and he also has to face—
But most things, that's why tech startups are a thing, bro. Like, we can't keep saying it's because he's a solo dev. All the pressures of being a solo dev. Most startups or anything, they scale out. Once you have the resources, the revenue to be able to scale out and hire people, that is what you do so that you can maintain quality while also actively developing. That's how the world works. You literally go outside and look at any company. That is how business works, and it is how it is built and maintained over
face the consequences of being an atypical developer. Loss of control over the narrative. Unfortunately, not everyone in the community is aware of all those reasons that we mentioned, so because of that, Rob Top often falls into false narratives and accusations. YouTubers, players, creators, and even well-intentioned community figures end up filling the gaps with speculation, assumptions, or
And to be fair, pot calling the kettle black, a lot of what I've said in this video is speculative. I don't know the full scope of things. I just know that I am a working class person who can't pay my bills. So when I see a millionaire who can and doesn't have to worry about that stuff, yeah, it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
half-truths. Over time, these interpretations spread faster than—
Sorry, maybe that's toxic of me. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a problem I need to fix about me.
corrections ever could, turning uncertainty into common knowledge and framing Rob Top as careless, lazy, or intentionally silent even when none of that is accurate. The problem is that once a narrative takes hold, it becomes almost impossible—
We're all broke here? I'm saying. Dap me up.
to undo. Any delay, lack of communication, or
We gotta empower our classes more. There's way too much infighting between the working class and poor. We gotta rise up.
vague statement gets filtered through those existing assumptions,
Y'all realize they want us to fight, right?
reinforcing them instead of challenging them. Rob Top isn't just fighting technical problems or development hurdles anymore. He's constantly reacting to a version of himself that the community has collectively imagined. And the larger the community grows—
That is being online, bro. I am a small streamer with 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I experience the same thing. People make up who you are. Freaking Rob Top is Mickey Mouse to some people. I'm Bugs Bunny to some people. I get it, bro. That is not a Rob Top thing. That is like when you put your face and identity online, that is what you become. You become flanderized by the people who follow you and the stuff you do. That is reality as we know it. Rob Top's absolutely not Mickey Mouse. Oh boy.
the less control he has over how his actions or inaction are perceived. The money.
Rob Top is an actual savage sometimes. Have you seen what Mickey Mouse does to Pluto?
I mean, how can one person have this much money? He probably has to pay a lot of taxes. Poor Robert.
Okay, yeah, this was tongue-in-cheek. It ends with,
Or
he probably has to pay
inaction
taxes.
Are perceived. The money. I mean, how can one person have this much money? He probably has to pay a lot of taxes. Poor.
Is this the common theme, chat, now that we finished the video? Do a lot of people kind of share the sentiment I have of like, man, it must be hard to be Rob Top, but also he has a lot of money. Yeah, they literally did the small violin that I did. That's so funny. Okay, I think me and GD Explain are on the same side. Also, that was a great video. Liked and subscribed. Be sure to, if you haven't checked out GD Explain, check them out. That was a fun video. I want to be rich. That's part of the problem, man. A lot of people want to be rich because of the way society and our culture is built. But chat, the answer is not becoming rich. The answer is building the life that you want to lead and developing systems in our governments that actually support the working class people and not just the rich and wealthy. Sorry, didn't mean to radicalize all of you. That was the video. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I want to be comfortable. Right, Ruby. People deserve to be comfortable, and your path to being able to be comfortable shouldn't be that you have to build your nest egg and become a millionaire to be comfortable. That's my opinion. If that's controversial and you think that's political, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like that's just humanitarian. That is humanitarian. Did y'all like the video? Was that good? Is Rob Top going to comment on this React video? I doubt it. Did you like that? Don't even pretend like you didn't. You made it that far in the video. Well, did you know that I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube, and you could catch me live and get to be a part of the experience when it happens? Also, if you don't care about that, or otherwise you want to see more of the video that you just watched, link in the description to watch the full VOD. Do that, please. I have a black eye because I play basketball sometimes. Bye. Oh,